If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another episode of Under the Radar for you guys. Yeah, there was more than just Metallica and Overkill that came out on April 14th that I wanted to touch base on. 3 albums in particular that I saw coming out on the 14th that I wanted to check out of curiosity. And we're going to kick this episode off with the youngest of these 3 bands, and that is Putrid with Consuming Aberration. So this is a debut. This is a new death metal band from Chile. So, been coming across more Chilean bands as of late here in 2023, including now Putrid. This is a death metal band from Chile, and they are very much playing death metal in the vein of the classic Swedish death metal. They're playing with that HM2 tone, which, if you know me, you know I love HM2 guitars on anything, really. Here, it's like they take that tone, but somehow make it more disturbing and disgusting somehow. Like, I wonder if they were using another pedal mixed with the HM2 to make it sound even more disgusting and sickening. So, yeah, very much Swedish death metal, so this is very punky and thrashy death metal. Lots of thrash beats, lots of D beats, occasional grooves, and occasional doom metal kind of pops in on here whenever they do slow everything down. The vocals on here sound like a hybrid of Martin Van Drunen and John Tardy, which is really, really cool. So yeah, musically speaking, this album, it's fun, it's punky, it's thrashy, it's energetic for a death metal band. Though I will say the mix on this album is off. Like, I would say the drums and even the vocals kind of overpower the guitars and the bass. It's like, there are great riffs on here, but I wish you could hear them more distinctly. Wow, bleh, while you're listening to it, but with the vocals and the drums kind of a little too high in the mix, kind of buries the guitars a little bit. But if you guys who are watching this are a fan of pretty much the following: Rib Spreader, Entombed, Dismember, and God Macabre, I think you're going to dig this album and band. For a debut, I thought it was pretty solid. I give this one an 8 out of 10. I think this band has a lot of potential to really kind of shine through, especially being a Chilean band, makes them stand out a little bit more. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for Putrid. But now on to album number 2, and the oldest band out of the 3, and that is Holy Moses with Invisible Queen. Of course, legends of German thrash, among the first German thrash metal bands, along with Creator, Sodom, and Destruction. I'm kind of surprised that these guys aren't in the Teutonic 4 over Tankard. No disrespect to Tankard, but I think Holy Moses is better than Tankard and more fitting. Or hell, even Exhumer should be in the Teutonic 4, but I digress. But yeah, Holy Moses, Sabina Klassen, still killing it on vocals, even at nearly 60 years old, and still looking beautiful, and still kicking ass. Pretty much, it's like she, Schmier, and Tom Angel Ripper are like the human embodiments of German thrash. This album, the production, it has a modern touch to it, but it still feels old school, as it's got a lot of great grit. It's a very well-balanced mix. The bass, I have to say, this is probably one of the best bass-driven thrash albums I have heard in quite a while. Like, there's some awesome bass lines all throughout this entire album. It's energetic again, it's thrashy, it's got some D-beat stuff that reminds you of like speed metal or hardcore, and you even get some guest stars on this album too, including the aforementioned Tom Angel Ripper from Sodom, Gire from Tankard, and Jens Kidman from Meshuggah even shows up on this album, contributing guest vocals on a few tracks. But yeah, musically, there's some brutal moments on here, but there's some really nice, tasteful melody kind of laced all throughout the album. So if you are a fan of bands like Sodom, Creator Destruction, and hell, early Voivod, I kind of heard on a couple of tracks here. So if you are a fan of any of those bands, you will like this. And I will say, one of the best thrash albums I've heard in 2023 so far. 8.5 out of 10. This is a really, really good album. Great riffs, awesome bass work, cool drum patterns. There you go. But now we're about to get even more outlandish, because the final album I'm talking about is VoidCeremony with Threads of Unknowing. So this is an international progressive blackened death metal supergroup, because you got members from bands like Funebrarum, Cathelist, live members of Incantation, and also members of Stargazer. So you got Americans, Canadians, Australians, all throughout this entire band. But yeah, proggy, blackened death. Although I will say, the black metal on here is very minimal. Like, only in like a few tremolo riffs do you get a black metal feel. Other than that, I would say this is closer to just being straight up progressive death metal. Not so much black metal, even though there's little hints of it kind of spread throughout. But yeah, this album musically, it's dissonant, melodic, brutal, evil, even gets a little jazzy at times, but it's very atmospheric. Like, I got moments from bands like Time Ghoul and Blood Incantation, Morbid Angel, Death, Cynic, even a little bit of Dream Theater here and there, especially whenever it gets really melodic. Made me think of Dream Theater a little bit. So yeah, the prog elements are beautifully done, but done in like a more evil way. But when it is melodic, it's beautiful. But evil, brutal, and just unwieldy, I would say, this album. And the production and the mix on this, probably the best mix and production of any of these three albums. Like, bass is audible, and oh my god, the bass work on this is just soaring throughout. But the guitars, they're filled with pus and filth. And the drums, just everywhere, and the death growls, they're just chaotic and evil sounding. So yeah, if you are a fan of Morbid Angel, Time Ghoul, Blood Incantation, Death, and Cynic, you will love this album, just like I did. This is a contender for top 10 album of 2023 so far. 9 out of 10. This is some phenomenal prog, death, black, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, 9 out of 10. And that does it for this week's Under the Radar. So yeah, 3 albums, 3 quick reviews. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And also, as always, albums are in the description box for you to check out. Which of these was your favorite? Let me know. And until next time, you people, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.